Google Drive is simple. You put everything into a folder, you create that link, you send it to the client, bada bing, bada boom, and that's pretty much it. And when you work in photography, there's something beautiful about that simplicity because the process itself can already get complicated pretty quickly. So I've never felt the need to make that last step more complicated. Which is why when Pic-Time approached me about sponsoring this video, I wasn't immediately convinced. I can already send someone their photos, so why would I need another platform? But once I started looking into Pic-Time, I realized I might be comparing two things that aren't really trying to do the same job. With Pic-Time, you can build a shop around your work, you can sell print and use automations, which opens up possibilities I've never really explored with the way I normally deliver my work. And as photographers, so much of our income is connected to the time we put into each job. So the idea of that work I've already created could potentially create more value after delivery is something that piqued my interest, and I wanted to explore it some more. Prints are probably the most obvious example. I love the idea of photographs becoming physical objects rather than just another JPEG disappearing in a folder. But if selling prints means I have to handle everything myself, realistically, I'm probably not going to do it because obviously I'm too busy. With Pic-Time, the shop is connected directly to the gallery and you can set up automations around it as well. Now, I'm still learning how all of this works and how I want to use it, but if somebody already loves a photograph and there's an easy way for them to turn it into something physical they can hang up on their walls, I think that's worth exploring. And just a little side note here, if you want to try Pic-Time out for yourself, I have a link in the description below. I do receive a commission if you sign up through it, so using that link would be a very nice way for you to support the channel if you enjoy my content. Another part I've enjoyed so far is putting the galleries together and deciding how I want the work to look. Everything works across desktop and mobile, and Pic-Time also has introduced custom colors and fonts so you can bring more of your own visual style into the galleries. You can choose your base colors and Pic-Time builds out the rest of the palette, or you can use colors pulled from the photographs themselves. You can also upload your own fonts and save those choices for future galleries. And I think that matters because we spend so much time thinking about how our photographs are going to look and how it's received, only to reach the end and put everything into a folder before sending a link. So being able to carry that visual identity into the gallery with Pic-Time makes the delivery feel more like an extension of the work itself. Now, there is one thing about Pic-Time that I don't like quite as much, and weirdly enough, it probably has more to do with me than Pic-Time itself. I'm still new to the platform, and figuring out all of the different settings and functions definitely comes with a learning curve, because that's almost the opposite of what I praised Google Drive for at the beginning of this video. I already know how Google Drive fits into my workflow, whereas with Pic-Time, I'm having to learn something new and figure out how I actually want to use it. But I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. When you've done something the same way for long enough, it's easy to stick with it simply because it's comfortable. And if I never give anything new a chance, I'm never going to find out if there's a better way to do it. So I'm not sitting here telling you that I've mastered Pic-Time or that I know exactly how it's going to change my business, because I don't. I'm still learning it, but there's enough there to make me want to give it a proper chance. Because sometimes the simplest route isn't necessarily the best route. Sometimes it's just the one you're used to. I started this whole thing thinking I was looking at another way to send out these photographs, the portfolios. But now I'm more intrigued and interested in what happens to those photographs after I send them. And I think that's kind of the point here. Sometimes you have to give something new a chance before you know whether it was worth making the change or not. And again, if you want to try out Pic-Time for yourself, you can find the link in the description below. Take care now, and I'll see you guys in the next one.